You know what? Google Plus. Is it me? Do you not like my outfit? Is that what's going on? Ladies and gentlemen, sorry for technical difficulties, which I should probably change the name of my show from Dylan Knows to Technical Difficulties, because I always seem to have technical difficulties. And here's hoping, Christmas, we're supposed to get a new laptop, a big, nice one. We're saving up our money, so it's not going to be like a $200 one. It's going to be like a $300 or so one. It's going to be a nice one. And hopefully then things will be okay. But for those who were watching, and right now we have no viewers, so they're probably like, you know what, I'll watch it later. But you know what, I don't care, because I'm going to do this show because I love this show and I love Gigi. So I'm going to do this, and we're going to talk about this. So it's your loss missing it live.
That's right.
Regardless, though, this is Dylan Knows, episode 46.1. The first part is probably going to be up on YouTube any minute now, because it's only like half an hour long.
Oh, gosh.
Just to reiterate what we're doing, Dylan Knows is my weekly video show on YouTube, different genre every week with different co-hosts. This week it's List Show, where Geri and I pick a topic and we list our top 10, top 5, top 7, top 6, top 8, whatever we feel like talking about. And most of it tends to focus most on pop culture and stuff like that. We're trying something different with our top 5 vacation spots that we've gone to and we will recommend, we love, and we've gone to already. We're not going to redo the whole thing because Geri had an excellent anecdote about her number 5, which I'll let her explain to you. Geri, what's your number 5 again?
Oh, Australia?
Yep, okay. Australia was your number 5. My number 5 was Boulder, Colorado. And once I'll just reiterate real quick, college town, cobblestone streets, surrounded by mountains, nice houses, nice yards, nice stores, had a comic book store, strange restaurants. University of Colorado is right around there. But actually, while we were trying to get rebooted up, Geri, you said you've been there before. Tell us about your time in Boulder.
Yeah, I was there. My girlfriend went to University of Colorado, and so she wanted to go back to visit, and she's like, why don't you come with? So I said, sure. So I went there, and what I was telling Dylan was her friend's boyfriend had one of those amazing homes that Dylan was talking about earlier, and they had an outdoor hot tub like on the patio. And this was like 95, 96. I'm not sure on the date. I'm a little hazy. But we were out there in the hot tub at night, and they were shooting stars. But because, Boulder's like a mile higher than what we're used to here in the East Coast, it almost felt like you could touch those shooting stars. It was so amazing and so pretty. And another thing too, the skies are just so crystal clear. So you think you know what stars are. Like, I live right outside of New York City, so I've got the the pollution and the whatnot here. But when you're out there, it is just crystal clear, gorgeous, so many stars in the sky. I just couldn't get over that. That's like one of my memories of Boulder.
That's one of the things. Yeah, I want to reiterate too. You're absolutely right. It is, the skies are amazing, and I've only seen, in most of the places I've been to, I've seen the stars is a great thing. I live in Reisterstown, which is a suburb about half an hour from Baltimore, and we get some stars, but nothing quite like this. This is just, this is massive amounts of stars. And from what I recall, really, the only other place I could think of where we had something like that is on the beaches of Cape Cod, Massachusetts, where you go out on the beach at night and you just look out over the ocean, and it's the first time I've ever actually seen the Milky Way, where you see those clouds, the cloudy type of thing that looks like it's just massive amounts of stars all together.
Awesome.
The skies. If you go to any of these places, always check out the skies. Australia is actually an interesting idea when you went to Australia, because it's on the southern hemisphere, so everything is reversed. So you said you went like in November, so it was their summer, and it was or actually more like late spring.
Yeah, it was starting to get warm. Yeah.
So they have like the spring constellations, while up here in the northern hemisphere we have the winter constellations, because there are 2 different sets of constellations that you see. That determines when the season is. A good example is Orion, the one that has the 3 belts, the three stars for the belt. That's a winter constellation. So you might start seeing that in the fall, but it's mostly winter constellations. So we were seeing that, but then you go down to Australia, you probably see like the Big Dipper and stuff like that, which we see mostly during the summer. So. It's always look up the skies wherever you go, because big cities, as Geri said, the light pollution, it melts everything and you can't see everything. So we're kind of lucky. We live. I live out in the deep suburbs, so we get some nice stars, and maybe once in a while we might see a shooting star. But yeah, definitely Boulder is just absolutely stunning when it comes to the sky. So the first part of the show that got cut off due to technical difficulties, I started talking about my number four, but I'm going to let Jerry do hers, and then I'll go back to mine. So Jerry, what's your number four?
Okay, my number four is where we went on our honeymoon. Now, funny story about our honeymoon. We got married in February, and my dream was always to go to like Bora Bora or Tahiti. And in February, they're known for having their storms. So when we started like having talks about where should we go and talking to travel agents, the one travel agent said to Ken, well, you could still go there. And Ken's like, yeah, but the storms. And she's like, yeah, it's just 30, 40 mile an hour, mile wind. And I want to say, those overwater huts?
Uh-huh.
Like, I wanted to stay in one of those. She's like, you would just stay inside. I'm like, yeah, no, I don't feel like blowing through the Pacific. So cross that off. So we ended up going to Costa Rica for our honeymoon. And this was 2003. Yeah, when did we get married? 2003. And it's sort of like now I think Costa Rica has become much more popular. It wasn't like, as common to go there then. So when we went to the town. It's called Quipos, and there's big Manuel Antonio National Park. And we got to stay in like our own villa, and there were 8 villas in this complex. And you had to go down like this foresty path to your own beach. Like, the villas had their own beach, no television, no telephone. You had to go to the main office if you needed to make a phone call. It was like totally, remote and private. And it was my first experience with an infinity pool. I had never been in one before. So it was really cool because when you were in the infinity pool, the way it cut off, it looked like it continued to the ocean. Which was it was really awesome. But the funny thing about Costa Rica is the little capuchin monkeys. The little guys like, Ross had one on Friends.
Uh-huh.
And so we were like, oh, when are we going to see the monkeys? When are we going to see the monkeys? Everybody that goes there wants to see the monkeys. So at night, the roofs of our villa were like, not like a tin roof, but, some kind of a material where it would bang, and you'd hear all this nonsense at night. You're like, what is that? It took us 2-3 days to realize it was the monkeys pelting things at the roof because they knew that the people were sleeping. They were like little punks. So then the one day we're at the pool, we're like relaxing because we did things like whenever we go places, we like to do like horseback riding or canoeing, boating, whatever they have to offer in that area we try to do just so we can see as much of the land as possible. So the one day we were just relaxing at the pool, and over by the little bar restaurant we saw a bunch of the monkeys, and what they do is they hang out, they steal people's drinks, they steal your food. It is the funniest thing. They are the most mischievous little guys, and they're really bad. It's funny because all the tourists are like, oh, the monkeys, and the people that live there are just rolling their eyes like, yeah, the damn monkeys, So that's like my biggest memory of Costa Rica are these little monkeys. From there, we actually got to travel to the Arenal volcano.
Okay.
Which is the Arenal area of Costa Rica, and they have a lot of little resorts there that you could stay at, and they're all surrounded by hot springs. And it's neat because each spring will tell you what the temperature is, and each have all different temperatures, so you can hop in and out of them. And the one thing that I thought was cool there was this was very resorty and not very honeymoony. It had families were there and kids and that sort of thing, and but the pool had a bar in the pool where you sit in the water, and that was neat and for at the time. Now I think all this stuff's common and I'm old and ready to die, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, Costa Rica was really pretty because of that. Yeah, we got to see a lot of the land.
I think my sister-in-law Catherine went there for her honeymoon also. Don't quote me on that, but I think it was they went someplace different that you normally don't expect for a honeymoon. But I mean, I guess as you said, it's starting to get starting to get picked up a bit more and more. I mean, they got married, I think it was 2005-ish, 2006, something like that. So it was a couple of years after you guys did. And I think it was 2006 because Noelle wasn't born yet. She was born in December 2006. So it was, and they got married in January. So they went, I think it was 2006 was their anniversary. So, but yeah, I think they went to Costa Rica. I think there's only one place, maybe two places I would like to go. South America, I don't really know a lot about, but Peru has always been an interest of mine because Machu Picchu was one of my projects in high school. I had to make a like a diorama, not really a diorama because it wasn't in a shoebox, but it was a model of Machu Picchu, and I had to do research on it. I just remember seeing how awesome that was. And then Rio, of course, I've heard lots of stuff about Rio and Carnival and stuff
Yeah.
like that, so that might just be an interesting thing to go to. And I started thinking about Argentina might be interesting also, but I think they're more war torn now or whatever. But I mean they're the ones, I think they're on the west coast of South America that goes down
Okay.
down closer to Antarctica as well. So I'm not exactly sure. But no, very cool. That is very cool. It's funny you mentioned your honeymoon. Where Dawn and I went on our honeymoon is on my list, but it's a little bit further up on my list because it's not really like a once in a lifetime thing. Because the way you have your list is really cool. You have the number 5 is like a once in a lifetime thing, and slowly it's getting down to kind of more. All right, more people can normally afford going to this place, that place. That's kind of cool. Mine is just sort of places I like. So that's another reason why this is awesome because we each have a different viewpoint.
Yes.
My number 4 is the only foreign country I've ever been to, and it's Canada.
Cool. And I've
and
never been there.
it's actually a section of Canada called Victoria Island, and
Okay.
it's part of the province of British Columbia. As I mentioned in the first show, the first part of this show, my dad and my first stepmom, I should say, they took us on a trip. That was one of our trips. Was we flew out to Seattle. We did Seattle, and we drove into Vancouver. Now, this is before they shut down the borders, so you need to have a passport. You need a passport now to go into Canada. We didn't have to do that when I went out there.
Oh
We could
wow.
just drive up to the border. There was a border, though. I mean, they had to ask us questions and look through our stuff, but we didn't need a passport to get there.
Hmm.
And then we go into Vancouver, hung out in Vancouver, and then Victoria Island it's an island off of the coast of Victoria. So you got to get on the ferry and you take it over to Victoria Island. Now, Victoria Island was for the longest time one of my favorite locations, and I was only there for a day. I didn't even spend the night there. It was just for a quick visit. It's not that far from Vancouver, but it was something that my dad wanted to go to. But it's a gorgeous, self-contained island. It's its own like city town, so it's got everything. It's got an inner harbor like Baltimore has, which is where I'm from. They have an inner harbor. Since they're still affiliated with Britain in some form or another, they have these like fantastic, tall, huge hotels that are fancy, and they still do tea time like they do in
Oh,
Britain.
cool.
So like 4 o'clock, I think was tea time. Their currency has pictures of the Queen, I think, on it as
Mm.
well. And I'm ashamed to say I really don't know much about Canada history. I should probably ask Bronwyn, who's my co-host for Dylan Knows International, about more to maybe talk about Canada sometime. But I don't know much about it. But I know they have like a prime minister, and each province is their own like solid their own country basically.
Mm.
But it might also be kind of like I don't know if it's like countries over in Europe where it's like, okay, oh, there's France and there's Italy and there's Austria and stuff like that. This might be more like states. It says, okay, this is the state of Vancouver, this is the state of Ontario, this is the state of you know uh, whatever, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Can't even
Like,
I don't even know the province
I don't
name.
know them either. Maybe Ottawa is one. Maybe
Ottawa,
I
yeah,
could
Ottawa
be
might be
wrong.
one.
Don't quote me. Yeah, I don't know much.
But Vancouver, the thing is though, nowadays I think I want to go back to Vancouver because at that time Vancouver just didn't do it for me, and I don't know why. I've seen pictures of it, and I've seen pictures of it, and I thought it was gorgeous nowadays, but I don't remember that much about it. I remember there was like an old style, like old style London side street. There was like with once again the cobblestones, the gas lamps,
Love that. Cool.
store stuff like that. It was really kind of neat. That's really the only thing I remember about it. That, and we went to McDonald's. That's the only thing I remember. And also there was a place you could change your currency. I think it was like in every like I think it might have been the McDonald's. If you went to McDonald's, they had a currency changing machine where you put in American dollars and they would give you the Canadian money. I could be wrong, but that's the stuff that I remember. But I remember Victoria Island. Victoria Island is just absolutely gorgeous. It's an island, but it's got like not really necessarily mountains around it, but it's an island that has lots of hills. So it's sort of you've got the hills, and then there's the city and the town is built like inside the hills. So you're surrounded by these gorgeous mountains. The weather is very temperate because storms hit those hills, and you really don't get a lot of the massive snowstorms, rainstorms, whatever, the cold like that. It's a very temperate, but it's a gorgeous town. Has a, as I said, has a harbor. Not quite like Harbor Place in Baltimore, but it's got shops, it's got boats. You could go right around the boats and stuff like that. It has a Chinatown, which is one of the bigger ones. I think they said might be one of the biggest ones in Canada. Actually, is their Chinatown, and then it's like neighborhoods. I mean, people live there. Once again, gorgeous houses, absolutely gorgeous manicured lawns. You were able to take a double-decker bus ride through Victoria Island to go all around and see all the sights. So we walked around the harbor. We had dinner. We might have even done tea time. I don't remember, but I just remember this massive size, probably maybe 10-story tall hotel. It was just but old style, old English type of thing. So Victoria, it was a beautiful area, beautiful town. For the longest time, was one of my favorite places I'd love to go back to, and I don't know, once again, if my memory is being clouded from the memories, or maybe I'm not remembering stuff properly, whatever, because it has been a long time. But I just remember Victoria Island was always, when everybody asked me, where's the place you'd like to go? And I was like, I'd like to go back to Victoria Island. So.
Yeah, it sounds gorgeous.
Yes, it's number 4.
Sounds like it has a little bit of everything.
Yeah, it does.
Really
I think
that
might have been why I liked it a lot, too, because it was just, you wanted something, you could do it.
Right. That's neat. That'd be neat to live somewhere like that, where it's all inclusive almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And not that far from Vancouver, so if you need to go back to the mainland, it was like maybe a 10-minute ferry ride back to the mainland.
That's not bad. I bet you people live there and then, they ferry in to work every day in Vancouver.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's neat.
Yeah. Number 3 for you?
Okay, my number 3 is, this is a must. I've been there 3 times in my life, and I probably should go more because it's where my family is from, and that is Sicily, Italy. And we are actually from the West Coast. We're from Palermo, and that's the capital of Sicily. And right outside of Palermo, about 15 minutes away, is a little village. And literally, when I say village, they're villages. It's called Cinisi, and that's where both sides of my family are from. So Sicily had to make my top 5 list, or I'd get in trouble. I'd probably end up swimming with the fishes. Just it's beautiful there. You've got the Mediterranean Ocean, and then you've got all the mountains. It's literally built within mountains, because all of Sicily is mountain, basically. To get across the entire island it takes about 3 hours. It's not super huge. But it's so funny because we went to Mount Etna, the volcano, which is more eastern. It takes about an hour and a half to get to Etna from where we're from. Okay. And when we told our relatives we were going, they're like, "Oh, that's so far. It's going to be all day by the time you get back," because their scale versus us in the United States, to go 2-3 hours is nothing here. But for them, it's like, you're going across the other side of the island, So I just remember finding that so funny. But yeah, we got to see the volcano, and it's still an active volcano. I think it erupted like a couple weeks after we had left, which that would have been interesting. And what's really funny, what's really funny though is that the town, I can't remember what town is right next to the volcano. There's like a big city there, and the volcano will rain ash for days afterward. And they just pop open their umbrellas and go about their business, and you're frozen again. I don't know if you can hear me. Maybe you'll come back on. Dylan, should I keep talking? Oh, there you are.
There you are.
Okay, phew. Yeah, your picture's still. Oh, there you go. I didn't know what to do. I figured I'd wait.
Yeah, I was getting ready to say, hey, you're frozen again, but I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a look at my shirt, because I'm getting ready to go black and white. So this is my colorful shirt, but black and white takes some of the the bandwidth away. So maybe that'll help out a little bit. So
okay. Should I do that?
If you want to. I mean, you don't have to.
I know how.
Don't worry about it. Let's see if it works on my end. But so
yeah, we've got the
volcano. Yeah, the volcano. Talk about that.
There is did you not hear any about the people with the umbrellas?
No, I didn't hear that.
Okay, yeah. So the main city that's right on the bottom, underneath the volcano, and I can't think of what the name of the city is. I really should have written it down. They're so nonchalant about having a volcano right next to them that after, days after it erupts, it'll rain ash,
Oh
and they'll
wow.
just pop open their umbrellas and continue on their days. Like, yeah, whatever. There's ash all over the place, and it's like a big bother for them because there's an airport on that side of the island, and they have to like sweep the runways, and they're just like, oh god, like it's just a big bother to them that there's this volcano that goes off and throws ash all over the place. It's pretty hilarious, like the attitude.
Oh wow, that is pretty cool.
Yeah. On the east side, I've never been there, but there's a town called Taormina, and it's like a big resort, famous town, and I guess a lot of Hollywood actors and actresses will go there now to vacation. My parents got to see it. They said it was absolutely gorgeous. It's that side of the Mediterranean, beautiful, whatever. Down on the southern point of the island is a town called Agrigento, and I might not be pronouncing that exactly right. But what's cool is it's known for their Valley of the Temples, and there's 8 Greek temples that are built there
Oh wow.
because back in the day it was a Grecian town, and the one temple is called the Temple of Concordia, and it's huge, with the columns. And
Oh
I have a
wow.
picture which I wish I could have dug up where I put my hands out, and the columns were wider than my wingspan.
Your wingspan,
Yeah,
yeah. Oh my
like,
God.
and just to think, like, how did they do that back then? Just the way that they built things was just so amazing.
And it's
Um,
solid too. I mean, solid as right. Nothing's
yeah,
moving that.
yeah. I don't know how they did it. I just don't know. And then there's a really, really cool town. It's called Erigi, and basically it's a medieval city that's at the top of a mountain,
Oh wow.
and you have to drive around the mountain. You kind of spiral up it. It takes an hour because you can't go too quickly. Like, there's no guardrails or anything. You're just going up this road. It takes an hour, but when you get up there, there's castle ruins, the cobblestones, but it's a city in and of itself. So you've got your restaurants, you've got your homes, you've got schools. It's crazy. There's like soccer fields for the kids to play on for the schools, and it's hanging off the edge of the mountain. Like, it's all up there. And to think, like, it took us an hour by car. Back in the day, obviously this castle was protected because by the time, their enemy would climb up for the attack, they had more than enough notice. It's just so amazing to think how they did things way back when.
It is. Something you
Yeah.
really don't think about too much.
No,
Wow.
yeah, you take it for granted. It's just so beautiful. And it's cool because anything new that they've built, they've tried to maintain that old look. Like, when you walk on the cobblestones, you trip because they're as is from way back when. And the way that they've settled, it's really a beautiful city. Yeah, so there's
Amazing.
just
Yeah.
so much to Sicily, and I'm so glad I got to go because, like I said, both sides of my family are from there. My grandparents all knew each other growing up, and it's just neat to go where you're from, so to speak.
That is. Yeah. No. You
Yeah,
need to. I mean, once again, I'm part German. I'm German. I have Scottish in me, and those are both places that I'd love to go to. Also, just to check out where you're from, because you always. I mean, yes, we were born in America. Yes, we're America, stuff like that. But it's always nice to see where your families came from, because unless you're Native American, your families didn't come from America.
right.
I mean, a couple of generations may have, but the actual first, Langs, whatever, they came from other places. So Italy is interesting. That's on my list also, of where I want to go. But it's near the bottom. So it's not. I mean, it's not like one of my top 5, but
Right.
it's up there. My dad, however, with his second wife now, is my second stepmom, which is cool. They've been married for a long time now, and everything's good. They're going to Italy in October.
Awesome.
So they've been planning for a while. My dad's never been there. He's actually been over to Germany and Austria and all that stuff. But they're going to go to Italy, so they're going to spend about 2 weeks there. So that should be pretty cool. And I don't know if they're going down that way. I think they're going to
Probably
stick around,
not.
maybe. Yeah, they're going to stick around the main areas.
Yeah.
But still, that's cool. Italy. I mean, Europe fascinates me. And as I told you just a few minutes ago, I've never been any other foreign country except for Canada. And yes, it is a foreign country, despite the fact that it is on North America. It is a completely separate, different country.
Yes,
So,
it is. Yeah.
yeah, that's the only place. So I've never been overseas anywhere. So that's something that hopefully one day I'd like to rectify. Dawn has. I don't think Dawn's ever really been overseas either. So it's one of these things that we are down the line,
Yeah.
years and years down the line, hopefully kids get a little older, we might be able to do it. My number three is actually probably someplace you may have actually been before, Jerry. It's down, not necessarily near your way, but it's in your state. Um, it's Ocean City, New Jersey. Ever been to Ocean City?
I actually have not.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's cool. Um, and the reason why this was actually when I started my list, this was number five because like okay, it's Ocean City, New Jersey. It's a typical resort town on the Atlantic Ocean. You know, you got a boardwalk, you've got hotels, you've got restaurants, you've got t-shirt shops, arcades, mini golf, you know, and beaches, stuff like that. But for the longest time, it was the only place I went to vacation, and the reason why is because my aunt and uncle still live there,
Oh, nice.
and that's my mom's sister. They have lived in Ocean City basically as long as I've known them. They had two kids. My cousin Amanda, who is about 2 weeks younger than I am, and
Oh,
she always likes to. It's funny when I turned 40, she's like, "Ha ha, you're 40." I was like, "Ha ha, you've got 2 weeks till you're 40." So, you know, so she had that. And then my younger cousin Ben, and we always, you know, we'd go up there. That was our vacation for the week. So basically, what we would do is, my dad, my mom, my sister, and I, we would drive up from Baltimore up to Ocean City, New Jersey. We'd spend the week there, and the first half of the week we'd go to. We always went to the same hotels, the Stingray. It's on the boardwalk, right on the boardwalk, oceanfront. They have a pool right on the boardwalk, a really nice restaurant near all the mini golf and fun stuff. So we always went to the Stingray. Always liked that. So we stayed there for like 2 or 3 days, and then we went to my aunt's house and we stayed at her house for like 2 or 3 days as well, so we could hang out with our cousins, my aunt and uncle. My mom could hang out with her sister. You know, my dad could hang out with his brother and sister-in-law. So it was kind of
cool.
cool. And Ocean City is an interesting place. It's probably not for a lot of people because it is a dry town, which means no alcohol is sold in the city limits. You can get them at restaurants because they have special, you know, contracts, rules, whatever you want to call it. But there are no liquor stores on the boardwalk, no liquor stores in the town proper. And one of my memories that I always remember is like right on the outskirts of Ocean City, there's a giant two-story liquor store where you can buy your liquor. You can bring it into Ocean City.
Okay.
You just can't drink. Like you can't walk around on the beach with a beer. You can't, you know, sit at the pool with a beer. Can't walk on the boardwalk with a beer. You have to drink it inside your like a hotel room or your houses, and you can't really have it. You know, maybe in your backyard, but you can't do it like in the front yard or you know the road and stuff like that. And so that's just one of the rules they have, and that's fine. They want to make it more like a family-oriented area, and that's
Yeah.
absolutely fine. But for the longest time, Ocean City was the place I always went for my vacation. And it is. It is a really nice It's a really nice vacation spot. I mean, the boardwalk is nice. It's your typical boardwalk. You've got rides, amusements. You've got video arcades back in the '80s. They had the Pac-Mans and the Space Invaders and the Dragon Flares and stuff like that, which I spent a lot of time on. They had bookstores.
Uh-oh. You're frozen. You're frozen. I can't make it up. Frozen.
Did I not stop broadcast it? Interesting. I'll have to see how this works. So let me just see. I'm going to try to